So I'm back at the Triumph today. I've had the battery fully charged. My machine at home that I charged the battery with didn't make me feel like it was fully working, because it started charging at 50% even though it was absolutely completely flat. Normally that means it's not in great condition. However, at the moment I'm getting over 12 volts and it's fully charged. Let's have a look. Is my arm in the way? Look at that, there's a fluctuation there, that's interesting. Well, let me get settled. So it's over 13 volts, which means it's good. The battery's okay at this stage. What I need to do is fire this bike up, let it idle, and see if the voltage goes 13.9. It needs to go high end of 13 basically. So let's see, let's make sure this light was the one that came on yesterday. Oh, I forgot, clutch needs to be in. At the moment, that light is still on. However, I believe it's firing on all four. Let me check. So at the moment, this bike is firing on all four, and it is running and riding as it should be. I can tell just from revving it. What happened yesterday was that it kind of dropped down to 3 or 2 cylinders, and then obviously wouldn't start back up to come, to get back to the garage because the battery didn't have power. So let's check if this battery is charging. So this battery is charging. What I need to do now is take it for another spin. And see if it goes into that same kind of mode, or see if it starts running on 3 or 2. The fact that light's still on is a bit of an issue, although sometimes with these bikes that could be an old issue and then it hasn't been reset. The mechanics haven't reset it. There's always that possibility. Considering there's been some work done, whatever they are, it could easily be fixed and repaired. And yesterday this dashboard flicked on and off a lot, which is what made me feel like it was the battery not charging from the level it was at. So like it just disappeared and then came back and disappeared and came back and disappeared, and it kept riding, but then it stopped eventually. So I'm going to give it a good 10-15 minute now out, and I'll let you know if I had to push it back or not. So I'm just back from that ride. It rid very well, no problems at all. It was definitely the low battery issue stopping it yesterday. I don't like the steering. I don't know if it's the suspension setup or if the tyres are low or what. Now, it's not that it's not just that I don't like it, it's that I'm not used to it. You know, it doesn't feel like what I'm used to. So actually my mate's R1 feels a lot more like this. So it's not necessarily bad. I'm just looking at the forks here. There's, I don't know if they're leaking or if there's crap on there. I'll give them a wipe and we'll see. Maybe they could have gone too soft or something. That could make sense. There's some interesting wiring down there. What's that going to? Oh, let's just... all this wiring is all a bit weird. But the bike ran very well. I'm going to see if I can put some air into the tyres and see if that makes a difference at this stage. I've got a feeling they're pumped fairly correctly, but I'll give it a shot. So I've put air in the front tyre and taken air out of the rear tyre. The rear tyre's max is 42 and it was up at nearer 50, which isn't good obviously, so I've lowered that down. I've adjusted the front suspension. Now how you adjust the dampening on this is basically you screw these all the way in or all the way out and then you count the clicks. So at the moment I am 10 clicks in on both from all the way out, and that gives me an idea of the, you know, that's kind of in the middle, not too soft, not too hard. What I'm going to do is take this bike for another spin, just make sure it's all going well again, and after that I'm going to be looking at how I fill up the coolant reservoir. I'm not sure if it's low. I'm making an assumption. I'm just trying to work out why the light stays on. It could be coolant, so that's the next step. I'm going to make sure the radiator is topped up and it's got enough coolant in it. But for now, another spin. So that was the last run for today. Much better. Rear tyre needed less air, front tyre needed more, front suspension needed the preload looking at. Much better. That was a pleasure to ride actually. For tomorrow, well I say tomorrow, for the next video, the chain, there's a lot of chain slap. Chain slap is when it's that loose. Look at that, absolutely way too loose. So it's slapping about. What I'll do is I'll give it a good clean and I'll pull it back tomorrow or whenever I'm here next. Then I'm going to check the coolant level and that's probably about it. The front brake light switch wasn't working yesterday. Let's just check again. The alarm works. Let's have a look. I can't see, you can. No, that switch isn't working. See, look, the back one does. There you go, front one doesn't. Very easy fix. It might need a new switch, it might need the wires looking at. Considering I can't even really see the wires right now. There they are. Them two just there. You can take them off, you can touch them together, see if the light comes on. If it does, then the circuit's working and the switch isn't. Sometimes they can be adjusted. Could be a simple adjustment to get it to work. It might just need a bit of a clean, but to be fair, a new switch costs nothing, costs pounds. Other than that, the bike needs a good clean, as in a jet wash. These alloy wheels, they're not coloured. I've told you before, they're extremely lightweight wheels and they're just alloy. You clean them. I mean, look, my finger does a lot of the work there, so a jet wash will be great on that. I don't like some of this paintwork. I'd like to get like a strip of this basically and just outline that on both sides. That would neaten it. I would neaten it quite a lot actually. So I'll have a look at that, and then some of this random scratches here I will try and polish out with my product, and then if I need to, I'll use some silver. Again, as always, this is not going to be a perfect bike. this is going to be a better bike than before we got it. It's got a nice exhaust on it, although it has no obvious sign of a baffle. There is kind of a baffle in there, but this hole here would normally be for another baffle. You can buy general baffles and you bolt it in. They really don't do anything. What you want to look for on an exhaust like this is it can't say not for road use, and on here it doesn't say that anywhere. So this is road legal.